Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat mga kaibigan. Ito po si Lando Assistant dito sa Pinoy Math Avenue. Ang ating pong lesson ngayon ay tungkol sa addition and subtraction of radical expressions. Ano po ba ang rule ng pag-add and subtract ng radical expressions? Simulan natin sa radical na familiar na sa atin, itong square root of 2. Sabi natin, ang square root of 2 ay tinatawag na surd. Samantalang, ang square root of 4 ay hindi surd. Ano po ba ang pagkakaiba ng dalawa? Ang square root of 4 po ay pwede nating isulat as an integer 2 because 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Samantalang itong square root of 2, ang approximate value niya po is 1.144213562237 and so on. And this 3 dots says we are going to continue this non-terminating, non-repeating decimals without end. So, ang tawag po dito is irrational number, samantalang itong 2 is a rational number. We can write this as a rational number 2/1. So, yung mga surds, hindi siya pwedeng isimplify into a fraction, an integer, or a whole number. Kaya wala na tayong pwedeng simplification na pwedeng gawin sa kanila. And kailangan natin itong concept ng surd para maintindihan natin maigi itong tinatawag na addition and subtraction of radical expressions. Pero tingnan po natin ang isa pang example. Halimbawa, meron tayong cube root of 8. Ito po ba ay surd or hindi? Isimplify po natin. Ang cube root of 8 ay pwedeng isulat na cube root of 2 times 2 times 2. Dahil itong 8 is equivalent to 2 times 2 times 2. And multiplying to 3 times is written in exponential form 2 raised to the third. And ito pong form na ito yung tinatawag nating perfect nth factor. Magkapareha po yung index at saka yung exponent. Ang result po, pag sinimplify ito, is just the base 2. And since cube root of 8 is equal to 2, which is a rational number, then cube root of 8 is not a surd. Samantalang, kung meron tayong cube root of 16, isimplify po natin. Yung 16, pwede nating split into 2 factors, 8 times 2. Then using again the product property of radicals, meron tayo ditong product, pwede siyang isulat as 2 separate radicals connected by the multiplication operation. Pwede siyang isulat na cube root of 8 times cube root of 2. Dalawa na silang radicals. But we know that cube root of 8 is equal to 2. This is equal to 2, and kopyahin po natin yung cube root of 2. Ito na po yung concept na multiple copies of a surd. Yung cube root of 2 is a surd and meron tayong dalawang copies of cube root of 2. And ito na po yung concept na kailangan natin para masimplify natin ang karamihan sa mga problems on simplifying radicals. And ang pinaka-rule po dito is only like radicals can be added or subtracted. And kung yung radicals hindi magkapareho, let's attempt to convert them into the same surds. Let me explain with an example. Halimbawa po, meron tayong square root of 2 plus another square root of 2. Ang ibig sabihin po nito is, we have one copy of square root of 2 plus another copy of square root of 2. That is equal to 2 copies of square root of 2. And that is our sum. Let's have another example. If we have square root of 2 plus square root of 3, i-check po natin ulit. Ano ba sila? Are they like radicals? Ano ba ang mga like radicals? Una, dapat parehas yung kanilang indices. Ito square root, so 2 ang index, 2 ang index, so pareho. No problem with the indices. Dapat ang kanilang radicand ay magkapareho also. You have here 2 and you have 3 here as the radicand. So obviously, magkaiba yung kanilang radicand. And dahil po dyan, hindi sila like radicals and hindi sila pwedeng i-combine. So ito na po yung ating final answer. Ito po yung common misconception ng mga bata as they transition from arithmetic to algebra. Palagi nilang ina-expect na ang final answer is one single number. Sa algebra, hindi po yan guaranteed. Karamihan, yung sagot po is composed of 2 terms, 3 terms, or many terms. And in this case, ang final answer po natin is still a binomial. Ang pinaka-guideline, if hindi sila like radicals, then wag mong i-add or wag mong i-subtract. As simple as that. Now, let's have another example. Halimbawa, ito yung example natin. Square root of 2 plus cube root of 2. Can we add or subtract these radicals? Again, i-check po natin kung like radicals sila. Ano ba, meron ba silang the same indices and the same radicand? Sa radicand po, no problem. Parehas 2 yung radicands. But sa indices po, ang index po dito is 2. Ang index dito is 3. So, they are not the same. And therefore, they are not like radicals ito na yung ating sagot. We can no longer simplify these two radicals. So, napakadali po kung palaging hindi sila like radicals. Kukopyan lang natin kung ano yung given problem. But hindi po palaging ganyan ang nangyari. Halimbawa, meron tayong dalawang radicals, square root of 2 plus square root of 8. Then, isang tingin pa lang, the radicand here is 2, the radicand here is 8. Baka isipan niyo po, napakadalin to. Ito na yung final answer. Just circle them and that's our final answer. Hindi po yan ganyan. We will attempt to simplify the more complicated radical in the hope na baka maging magkaparehong surds sila later on. Let me show you what I mean. Isulat po natin itong square root of 8 as square root of 4 times 2 because 8 is equal to 4 times 2. Then using product property of radicals, pwede natin siyang isulat na dalawang radicals as square root of 4 times square root of 2 using this product property of radicals. Then alam natin ang square root of 4 is equal to 2. So ito po yung result. Copy square root of 2 and change square root of 4 into 2 and copy square root of 2. So ano na po ang interpretation natin ito? Ang ibig sabihin po nito is meron tayong isang copy ng square root of 2 at dalawang copies ng square root of 2. So ang sum nila is 3 copies of square root of 2. And that is now our final answer. So nagsimula na akala natin hindi sila like radicals, but upon simplifying the square root of 8, lumabas na ang square root of 8 is just 2 copies of square root of 2 and naging na silang like radicals. So 1 copy of this plus 2 copies of this equals 3 copies of the same thing. And that is now the beauty of this addition and subtraction of radicals. Let's have more examples. 2 square root of 18 plus 3 square root of 8. Again, magkaiba ang kanilang radicand. So anong gagawin natin? I-simplify muna. So kopyahin yung problem. Split 18 as 9 times 2. Then write 8 as its factors 4 times 2. Iniisip po natin yung factors in such a way na ang isa sa kanila ay perfect square. 9 is a perfect square because this is 3 squared. 4 is a perfect square because 4 is 2 squared. Then, apply again the product property of radicals. Naging dalawang radicals na itong square root of 9 times 2 equivalent to square root of 9 times square root of 2. Parehas na explanation po dito sa second term. Then, itong square root of 9 is equal to 3. Then, itong square root of 4 is equal to 2. Copy all the rest. Then, 2 times 3 is equal to 6. Copy square root of 2. And 3 times 2 is equal to 6. Copy square root of 2 and copy the plus sign. So, 6 copies of square root of 2 plus 6 copies of square root of 2 is equal to 12 copies of square root of 2. And that is letter A. Sunod pong problem. Halimbawa, meron tayong 3 square root of 24 minus square root of 24. Automatically, square root of 24 and square root of 24 are like radicals. So, pwede natin silang i-combine right away. So, kopyahin yung problems. 3 copies of square root of 24 minus 1 copy of square root of 24 is equal to 2 copies of square root of 24. And, isimplify po itong radicand na to. Isulat siya as 4 times 6. 4 is a perfect square, and 4 times 6 is equal to 24. Then, yung square root of 4 is 2. So, finally, we have 4 square root of 6. And that is letter B. Next example. So, 2 square root of 20 plus 3 square root of 5. So, ito po, square root of 20 and 5, they are not like radicals. So, anong gagawin? I-simplify po muna sila. So, kopyahin yung given, then split 20 as 4 times 5 and copy all the rest. Apply the product property of radicals and simplify square root of 4, that is equal to 2, and copy all the rest. And 2 times 2 is equal to 4, so 4 square root of 5 and copy all the rest. And here, 4 copies of square root of 5 plus 3 copies of square root of 5 equals, of course, that's 7 square root of 5. And that is letter A. So, ang dali po ano? Let's have another example. Ngayon po, meron tayong trinomial and medyo complicated po dahil malaki na yung number. Square root of 96, square root of 24, and square root of 72. But kung susundan natin ang the same procedure, madali lang po ito. So, kopyahan muna yung problem. And ito po yung technique. Ilista natin yung list of perfect squares. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, and so on. Then, split this 96 in such a way that one of the factors would be any of these perfect squares. It could be 4 times any factor or 9 times any factor or 16 times any factor as long as meron kang dalawang integers na ang product is 96 pero ang isa sa mga numbers na yon is any of these perfect squares. And it's 16. Ito pong 16 na ito multiplied by 6, that is equal to 96. Then, para sa 24, pwede natin siyang isulat as 4 times 6. And 4 is a perfect square. And para po sa 72, ito pong 72 is 36 times 2, and 36 is also a perfect square. Then, apply the product property of radicals and simplify. So, yung square root of 16 is 4. So, ito, naging 4. Square root of 4 is 2. And square root of 36 is 6. All the rest are copied. Then, multiply now. 2 times 4 is equal to 8. Copy square root of 6. Multiply these two. That is equal to 4. And copy the minus sign and copy the square root of 6. And here, 2 times 6 is 12. And copy the minus sign, copy the square root of 2. Then you have square root of 6, square root of 6, square root of 2. Ito lang pong dalawang ito ang like radicals. So sila lang yung pwede nating i-combine. 8 minus 4 is equal to 4 and copy the common factor square root of 6. Then just copy minus 12 square root of 2. Square root of 6, square root of 2 are not like radicals. So there's nothing more that you can do. Ito na po yung ating final answer. And that is letter B. Next example, 2 times the square root of 3x cubed plus 5x plus square root of 3x. Meron na tayong variables, pero hindi po yan problem dahil just treat these variables as numbers also. They are placeholders of unknown quantities. So, simplify po natin. Copy the problem, then be cognizant that the index here is 2. Samantalang exponent dito is 3. Using the perfect nth factor, dapat yung exponent sa loob must be divisible by the index. And kung hindi siya divisible, split this into product of numbers in exponential form using the law of exponent number 1. So ganito po ang mangyayari niyan. Itong x cubed, sinulat nating x times x squared. Dahil ang implied exponent po dito is 1, applying law of exponent number 1, you multiply x to the first times x squared, just copy the common base x and you add their exponents 1 plus 2 to get this 3. So equivalent lang po itong dalawa. Then kopyahin lang yung sunod. Then, applying now the product property of radical, pwede siyang isulat na ganito. Copy this 2, take this as one group, ito na yon. Then, this is another group, ito na yon. And dalawang radicals na siya. The reason is the square root of x squared is simply x. Itong part na ito, x lang siya. Then, kopyahan lang itong sunod na term. Then, the simplified form of this must be 2x times this radical, the square root of 3x, and just copy the second term. Then you now have here square root of 3x and square root of 3x, which are like radicals and therefore can be added or subtracted. So, addition po siya, just add this 2x plus 5x. So, 2x plus 5x, ito na po yan. Then copy the common factor, square root of 3x. And 2x plus 5x is equal to 7x. So, 7x and copy the common radical expression, square root of 3x, ito na po yung ating final answer. Then, let's have more exercises. Meron po tayo ditong 12 exercises. Yung first 4 are easy problems. And meron na po siyang answer key. Just try the problems, and once you answered it, check if your answer is the same as our answer key. Then, the next 4, sila po yung mga medium ang difficulty. 4 po ulit sila. Just pause the video and try to solve them. And here is the hard problems. 4 rin po sila. So maraming salamat po at huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe sa ating Bicol Math Avenue sa Facebook, Bicol Math Avenue sa YouTube, Math Avenue, ito po yung English language channel natin sa YouTube, and Assistant and German Academy, ito po yung mother of all our pages. Dito po tayo nagsimula, and currently we now have more than 150,000 followers and more than 1,000 videos here. Plus ito po yung bago, ito po yung Pinoy Math Avenue. And dito po gamit natin ang ating pambansang wika, pero we are trying to maintain the academic language para hindi mahirap yung pag-transition nyo from learning math in our channel and then babalik kayo sa inyong mga classrooms. So yung mga mathematical terms, nasa English pa rin po siya dahil pangalan po yon. I-maintain natin kung ano yung pangalan. Pero yung pagpaliwanag, ginagamitan natin ng salitang Tagalog. So maraming salamat po. Ito po ulit si Lando Assistant, Bicolano, Filipino.